Italy is mad because World Athletics announced the 10 men for the Athlete of the Year finalists, and they are Joshua Cheptegei, Ryan Krauser, Mondo Duplantis, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, Eliud Kipchoge, Pedro Pichardo, Danny Stahl, uh, Mintiladis Tentaglu in the long jump, Damian Warner, and then Carson Warholm. So Marcell Jacobs is not on that list despite winning the 100-meter gold medal. Now, here are the quotes, Gordon, from the Italian Olympic Committee president Giovanni Malago. He said, "It's profoundly wrong. It's profoundly wrong." Um, and he said it was a lack of respect as well, too. Now, let's just dig into the numbers a little bit here. Think, man, they left out the 100-meter Olympic champion, but also not on that list, the 200-meter Olympic champion, the 400-meter Olympic champion, the 800-meter Olympic champion, the 10,000-meter Olympic champion, the steeplechase Olympic champion, the high hurdle Olympic champion. I could go on and on. A lot of Olympic champions were not on there because they're only picking 10 athletes here. Now, what case does Jacobs have? Let's just look at his outdoor performances. Pre-Olympics, and he ran 5 100-meter meets. He lost 2 of them. So he went 3 and 2, you could say. Then he wins the Olympics. Post-Olympics, he didn't run. Not one race. Didn't race at all. So listen, Italy, you won the 4x1. You got that high jump gold. Very memorable. You got Jacobs. You won the Euro Cup in soccer this year. You had a lot of things go right for you. He is not in the top 10. There is no argument for him to be in the top 10. It is not profoundly wrong. It is not a lack of respect. It is merely an awareness of the whole season of track and field. And Jacobs is not in the top 10. In fact, I'll go further. A lot of those athletes I mentioned and those event winners who won gold in Tokyo would have been included before him. If they included 15 people, he probably would not have been on that list, and he should not have been on that list. And if he wanted to have be on that list, he should have run more. It's pretty simple.
Well said. Add a little of this. I wasn't even surprised that Marcell Jacobs wasn't in the top 10. I was surprised that Andre DeGrasse wasn't in the top 10 because I think Andre DeGrasse has a reason to say I'm a top 10 athlete. He was 3rd in the world rankings. And while he has an Olympic win as well in the 200, I would take an Andre DeGrasse over a Jakob Ingebrigtsen, over a Tentaglu, over a Kipchoge. I would take DeGrasse over a Kipchoge. So if I'm willing to fight for the sprint fans out there that there should have been an Andre DeGrasse in the top 10. But I'm not there to fight for the Italian sprint fans because if we're going to let Jacobs in, we need to let DeGrasse in, we need to let Kenny Bednarik in, and we need to let Fred Kerley in. Because
and Stephen Gardner.
And Stephen Gardner. Because I'm sticking short sprints for now. While you did beat Fred Kerley in the 100 and DeGrasse in the 100 in the Olympics, you chose to stay home, to not run after the Olympics. You also chose to not dominate in your event the way Kerley and DeGrasse dominated back and forth in their events. And Kenny B has run sub 20 he's still doing it. He's like on number 50 of sub 20s, right? He's running sub 20 every time he gets on the track. So I would put Kerley, Bednarik, and DeGrasse in before I even put Jacobs in. Now, here's the thing. When they do this, they kind of treat it like the Senate, where they're not going to just put a person, like 9 people from LA, and they're all in, and then 1 person from Wyoming, right? They're going to want to have a person from PA, a person from Texas. Like they're going to want to have a person from every state, aka every event. So they don't want to really put more than one from the same event. So that's why It's
But they
Warholm,
didn't put any
you know,
sprinters in. I
and
guess
so they
Is
didn't put
Warholm the
any
sprinter?
sprinters in.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah,
Warholm technically is the sprinter, you
yeah.
know, but
Yeah, I agree. That's what they did. I wouldn't. Jakob should be in there because I think Jakob's a top 6 guy if I scored this out. But you're right about Kipchoge. But they want to put Kipchoge there because yes, the Olympic
Joke.
performance was dominant. But his other race this year, he ran at the airport in the Netherlands. He beat everybody, but was that a real race? And then are you going to put somebody in who only runs once? Listen, I mean, he's won it twice and he deserved it both times. He might even deserve it again. This just wasn't the year for him. People like Tentaclu and Stahl, they have these Pichardo, they have these under the radar seasons because they're in field events. But you go back and you look and you're, oh wow, they only lost once or twice, or they had all the top marks. I still stick with Krauser 1, Warholm 2. I go Warner is my third spot, and then I think you could have
I'll put
I think
Mondo.
you'd have Mondo. I'd have Mondo 4, and then I think I'd have like Ingebrigtsen and Stahl there in some order 5 and 6. But to your point, yes, DeGrasse I think should have been on here. I would have moved probably Kipchoge off of it, which is a weird thing to say, but your point stands. They could have invited 3 just sprinter of the years, men's sprinter of the year nominees to Monaco, and Jacobs wouldn't have been on the list, and he shouldn't have been on the list. Here, I don't mean to pile on here, but this is just so obvious, right? That it's not who won the Olympics this year. It is athlete of the entire year. If you're putting him on, he Hansel Parchment, you should put Hansel Parchment in there too.
Yeah.
Big upset at the Olympics. Knocked off the big dog when the time came, ran the great race. You put Hansel Parchment in there, probably ahead of him as well too, right?
Actually, Parchment would be in before Jacobs in my mind because one, Parchment beat a more dominant figure in Grant Holloway, and Parchment went on and continued running and like had
Yeah.
other performances throughout the season and pre and
Yep.
after. I think a win over Grant Holloway in the Olympic final is 10 times more impressive than a win over Fred Curley in the Olympic final. No offense to Fred Curley. I think Curley probably maybe even agree with that. He's like, yeah, Grant Holloway, he's pretty damn good. He's 1/100th away from breaking the freaking world record, right? So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Parchment's Olympic performance is more impressive than Jacobs, and Parchment's on. And I don't think Jamaica's out there screaming, we want Hansel, right? I don't think that's happening because I think they
Is it
recognize.
is Kenya clamoring for the Emmanuel career candidacy, or is that just you?
No, dude, I used to be so hot on the Emmanuel career train and like jumped off it right before it mattered. And I could have won money. Anyway. But yeah. Jacobs, well, who said this? An Italian random
It
guy
was
in a
the
restaurant? Who was the
No, it
person who
was
was
the
saying it?
Italian Olympic Committee president, the president of the entire Olympic Committee. Lack of
Okay.
respect.
Well, we got to remind the Olympic community like track and field is not one event. And
Yeah.
not everyone that won, like you said, not everyone that won a title was in the top 10. So